All right, Huber.
Yo.
We're recording this the day after I did it, but you're seeing this several weeks later. So several weeks ago,
yeah.
I went to Montreal to Rogue Factor to play Hell Is Us.
Yeah. Which I am so curious and interested in.
It is,
Let's go.
It is, Hubert, is a good year for weird games. It's kind of my first
Love this.
First thesis on this.
Love this quote.
Because
write that down.
Yeah. So this is a mashup of all kinds of stuff that you just normally wouldn't picture going together.
Yeah.
Right. And just to give you some background. Oh, also I should pitch this right away. I also did an interview with Jean-Jacques Bellatet. And
Great.
that's an audio only interview that will be up on our Patreon and on our podcast feed as a bonus episode.
Sweet.
That'll go up basically around the same time as this video, so go and check that out. Because I talked to him for 20, 25 minutes, something like that.
Great.
So got some more insight into like his move from Eidos Montreal to Rogue Factor and their philosophy in building this and all of this. And that's part of this actually, because kind of, like we were talking about, weird games and small teams, sort of similar to Clair Obscur. Rogue Factor is only like 55 team members.
Wow.
And they're also
55! I went in the other room.
They're also like really pushing to like do everything as much as they can in-house. So like they have like a VO recording booth there. They have a composer there on site.
But that helps with workflow. Just like,
yeah, and so like the only thing that they're really outsourcing is like QA and localization stuff. Got it. It's like because we don't know Mandarin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so in terms of like the setup of this game, it's so crazy because it's a mashup of like kind of like three different eras in a way. So you're in this like country in like the 90s, like 1993, this European Civil War, but it's not like a real European country.
Yeah.
They didn't want to like deal with all that, but it's like this mashup of like the UK and like Eastern Europe, and so you kind of see elements of both in there. At the same time, like, so you're this guy, so he compares this country to sort of like North Korea or USSR, where it's like, it's hard to get in, it's hard to get out.
Got it.
And so your main character, your parents got you out when you were a child.
Whoa.
And you grew up, and I think you
Black Widow.
grew up in Canada or something, right? And then you want to get back into the country and find your parents and find out what happened to them and all this stuff. And so like he becomes, instead of the UN, they have the ON. He becomes an ON peacekeeper to kind of like give himself a reason to get in there and then get behind enemy lines and stuff. But in kind of like one of your first encounters, like you end up getting some of this military equipment. And it includes like you've got like a freaking iPad kind of thing and like a drone that's like one of your main tools.
Got it.
That's flying around with you. And there's a lot of crazy stuff with the drone that I'm going to get into. But then you're investigating these like ruins and like religious sites and things like that. And the other thing that you get from these operatives, well, the one that survived before she like dies right in front of you, is like this huge freaking sword.
Yo.
And then I also get like a pair of like twin axes, and then later like I'm playing with a pole. So it's like, so you've got like this sort of modern day framework and world to explore, and then like people to talk to and stuff. But then you have a little bit of futuristic. He was comparing it to Metal Gear. Like Metal Gear always kind of like James
Near
Bond goes
future
above
vibe.
what the actual time frame is.
Yeah.
But then you have this very like medieval Souls-ish kind of dungeon crawling.
Yeah,
and
it looks
stuff.
really cool. I love the balance of it.
And so
contrast.
in a way, I'd say it's like, if you're gonna like put two games together, I'd say like this is like a between like Atomfall and Elden Ring.
Cool.
On top of each other.
I love that. It's a great sell, Blood. It's a really good sell.
And so, because like one of the like very first things that you do is like you find this farmer and you have like this very RPG dialogue thing where it's like you can ask him questions, but you can only ask him questions about things that you've already learned about. So it's like getting knowledge and exploring the world gives you more options to talk to people and get more leads onto other things.
Yeah.
And like you talk to him and you learn about, like he's lost some kids in this war and all of this stuff. And then later on, like you find this watch looted off of one of these bodies, and like if you recognize the name, then like you can bring the watch optionally, go back to the beginning of the level, bring it back to the farmer.
Love that.
But it's it's considered a good deed. It's a totally optional thing. You
Love
can totally
that stuff.
move on, not do that at all.
Gotta be a good Samaritan. Gotta do the good deeds.
And then one of the other like big like gameplay design philosophies that he was talking about, which is one of the reasons I've come back to Atomfall, is he's like kind of coined this term player plattering as the opposite of a silver platter. So like he is kind of like pushing back against like putting the quest markers and the map things and all this stuff on there, and so really wants to make the world so it's like you see a thing and you go do it and figure it out.
I love that.
Yeah. So
good,
like you do have a compass, but it's not like a compass that puts a magic marker somewhere. It's like a compass that puts like south or north or east or west.
So like
screen.
general direction.
Yeah, well, it's like
out.
no, it's actually functions like a compass.
Yeah, cool.
So if somebody tells you something's to the north, you're
You
like,
use
okay, which
the
way is north?
compass?
Yeah,
Sick.
exactly.
That's fun.
And there's some nice, talking about luring things in here. I would say the puzzles in this game are very Resident Evil style puzzles, where it's like, okay, we've got this room full of torches, and we gotta like twist this torch and twist that torch, and like, look at the clue in context to like figure out like, okay, which ones do I need to turn the right direction, or you'll have like these like holes in the wall that are a specific shape, and so you've got to go through the rest of the dungeon to like find the items to slot into the holes to open the door.
Fun.
That kind of thing. And then there's like optional, like I did like this little extra treasure hunt kind of thing where like I saw like these colored rocks, like these kind of like cairns almost.
Yeah.
I saw like a red one up on a hill, and I came across a blue one with like a box next to it, and then eventually I found like a note where like somebody had hid the key. So you like find the key, find the box, and then you get like a little accessory there. So what's interesting is, so they consider this more of an action adventure than an RPG, and one of the things that they don't have is RPG stats for your character. But you do have
weapons.
Different weapons with different abilities, and like when you use a weapon enough, it will level up.
So the weapons level up.
Yeah, the weapons will level up, but you don't.
How many times can the weapon level up?
I don't know. It might depend on the weapon. I'm not sure. Like I only got to check out like 4 weapons in the time that I got to play.
Okay.
And
that's cool. I mean, it streamlines a lot of it. Not having to worry about attributes, strength, dex, crit. Like where do I put my points? All that can sometimes be overwhelming.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just focusing on other things.
Yeah. Well,
but it's at least you get to have the weapons
specifically for them as developers, because I asked about this in the interview too. Like, why they made this choice. And it's because the team, before they started making this game, had just come off of 2 like very heavy RPG games.
So we were sick of numbers.
Basically it's like we know all this is gonna have to balance and all this stuff. So there's like let's keep it simple and keep it in scope, and that's another thing. It's like this is being made very sustainably and cheaply on their end. So it's like it looks more.
Is this triple I?
I mean, I think they'd consider it like double A kind of.
Yeah. How's the combat feel though? Weighty?
Yeah.
Good?
So the combat is definitely the thing that I think we were all trying to get the rhythm of and figure out. There's some very different systems in this, and the parry timings with the way that characters animated are kind of crazy. Yeah. But the things that you fight against are...
Yeah, you've been playing Expedition 33.
Are called like hollows or whatever, something like that. And when you see them, they're very distinctive. This is like a chibi version of a hollow right here.
So intense.
But yeah, so they basically have these holes in them. And then so you'll fight guys that are kind of like this, and then there's all different variations, like guys with like these kind of like big bladed arms, and guys with these sort of wings that will like sort of shield them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And with different attack patterns. But then one of the things with this, okay, so you've got your normal attack. Instead of like a heavy, you have a charge attack. Mm-hmm. And so that you can charge like the weapons I've seen so far. Like you can do like up to 2 charges, and that's finding the balance of like when I have enough distance to charge and get that charge in really is interesting.
Okay. I love charge attacks, so that's cool.
So and
Charge
like,
R2,
with the
dude.
sword, it was
Let's
like
go.
a big kind of like close the gap.
Executioner's cleave blood.
Yeah. With the hatchets, the twin axes.
Yeah.
It was like really fast,
Whoa.
like a little combo.
Berserker.
You know? Yeah. And then one of the crazy things in this, your stamina is tied to your health. So the lower your health gets, that also caps your max stamina.
Oh,
So,
that's tough. That
so
is
if you get
rough.
low on health, you're also low on stamina.
Whoa, scary.
Yeah. And so that's
The year
again,
of stamina management.
one of those things I was trying to balance. The other thing I was trying to balance is there is this mechanic, in addition to like trying to find parry windows, when you hit an enemy, it will kind of have like the regen bar that you'll see. Like if you hit him a couple of times, you'll see like a gray bar go up.
Yep.
And then, but you have to, it's like almost like an active reload. There's like this like white, like fairy dust glowing
Mist.
around you. Yeah. And when it kind of like congeals into like a hard circle, you hit the button and then you get the health back. If you don't hit that button at the right time, no health for you.
Crazy.
So it's like,
Crazy.
so like just really like trying to get these little
Yeah, little
minutia
nuance.
down.
For
and,
Sure.
And like I said, like these little freakos, the way they move, it's
Yeah.
like, when do I parry you? Like, but I've enjoyed playing around with it. The other thing about the system that makes it really tricky is that it's very difficult, at least at first, to deal with multiple enemies.
Yeah.
Like they will, they will
Swarm
not
you.
stand back and just wait for you. Like you go after one guy, another guy's in range, you're going to get hit by the other guy. One of the first things that you can do though with the drone is you can use the drone to distract enemies.
Great.
So you target an enemy, you pop the drone onto them, and then you focus on the other guy. But that's on a pretty heavy cooldown. But there are also like items that you pick up. So you can pick up health kits. You can pick up like stamina kits. You can pick up things that will like regen for a bit. But there are also things that will like like take care of that cooldown for the drone for you.
Nice.
So, and then when I got later into, they skipped me ahead to like a dungeon later on,
Yeah.
where there was a whole bunch of other mechanics and stuff with these weapons that like I don't know what is this green stuff, I don't know. But some of the other things that the drone could do is it could amplify your dodge. So basically, it like goes onto your back, and then you have like a boost dodge to like get like a lot of distance away or towards an enemy.
Fun.
And then I think there's one that's like a bull rush where you just like
Charge
go
through.
straight at a guy. And then
my
there's
favorite.
one, the craziest one is like it's like a spin attack. So
Whirlwind.
you it's like the
Yeah.
drone takes you and then just like spins you, and you're like your weapon
Cool.
like takes on like a
That's so fun.
helicopter.
I love that. Upgrade this
oh,
drone.
And then the other weird, crazy thing with some of these enemies is there's like this whole thing of like them being like tying into the name Hell Is Us, where like there's sort of like a metaphor for like our emotions and stuff. And so
Heartless.
this guy's like a heartless. But then you'll see guys with like these like red or yellow or green
Nobody's.
hearts, and those things. The emotion will actually pop out.
Whoa.
And it'll be like this crazy, like floating geometric thing attacking you with like very different
crazy.
attack patterns.
Yeah.
And while it's out of the hollow's body, you have to damage it enough so that it goes back in before you can actually hurt the hollow. But the hollow can still attack you. So it's like figuring out like
Taking
how to
out
deal
this
with
thing,
multiple
yeah.
things and with their crazy attacks and all that. I had times where like there'd be, of course, like some dude sniping at me from
Yeah.
above. So like I got to get up this ladder and deal with that guy before I even touch you people.
Oh my gosh. Sounds intense. But
Yeah.
also like not overwhelming.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. So even though there's like some very clear like Souls inspiration for some of this, they don't want it to be like beat your head against the wall. You can't progress, et cetera, et cetera. And so they're labeling it the combat mid-core instead of hardcore.
Are there difficulties? Or is it just the one?
Yes, and actually, it sounds like there's a lot of like options. I didn't look at them, so I don't know the details. But it sounds like there's a lot of options that they kind of had in there for like testing and debug that they're going to kind of keep in for people to tweak to find their sweet spot.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
that'll be good. The one of the funny brain dead moments for me of this preview event, I did the Bloodworth thing, and I was looking around and trying to do everything I could.
Yeah.
And I did not realize, because they flew me to Montreal.
Yeah.
I did not realize that I was part of a morning session and that there was an afternoon session after me. So I was taking a knee, I was taking my time, and then a guy comes up to me and is like, you're not to the, you're just now getting to the swamp? Because like that was supposed to be the main area that I was supposed to explore, and I just explored like the prologue area before the opening credits.
Oh my God.
But it's like, even just like walking around, like I basically just walked like across a bridge and into town more or less. But they were so like, again, talking about like that player-led like discovery. It's like, okay, there's this crazy tower over here. There's something up on a hill. There's so much that like any direction is like, I want to go do that. I want to go do this. And it's like, and
that's so fun.
And it sounds like they kind of like unintentionally made it longer than they expected. Cause he said like, one of the guys said that like they just did a run. It was like, it's like took me like 45 hours. For, and I don't think it was like a full completionist run, but like probably doing most of the side stuff.
Pretty chunky.
Yeah. But they're still happy with like some of the stuff I found in the prologue area because like what's interesting is like I was expecting, because like basically you get the keys to this APC because you're trying to catch up again to your family.
Great.
So you're trying to get to this village where your father was the blacksmith.
Yeah.
And so you're just trying to find the keys to like take this APC because all these military guys are dead anyways. And so I was figuring that like, okay, well once I get in that APC, then I'm not going to be able to come back here, right? But as I was exploring,
your gamer
and going
experience
the opposite direction of where I was supposed to go, I came across this crazy tower, and it was very obvious that like I'm not going to be able to get into this tower for a while, So, and there were some other things where like there were like these like, and I saw these like later on too, where they're like these holes, like these square holes to put into things, and I'm like, I don't know what I put into these. They just said like, you don't have the item for this yet. Is all it basically told me. Oh, another thing that the drone can do is the ancient text. There's like all this stuff written all over the place, and it will decipher the text. So there's before you get to the drone, even you see a few of those along the way. It's like, I wonder what does that say. You want to know what reminds me of Returnal? The freaking music.
Sick.
It sounds like Returnal, like when you're just walking around through the woods and stuff. Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, and so I think that's one of the things that really helps set the tone. You've got this like very deep sci-fi synth stuff.
Sick.
Kind of like laying the undertone. So when you start seeing freaky dudes like this,
I'm ready.
You're kind of like, okay, I sensed that something was up here. Like you got these guys with these weird like symbols, like this. When you get to the village, there's like this priest there that they've like hung up, and like,
jeez,
he's still alive, but probably not for long.
Doom the Dark Ages.
Yeah. So it's a very, very, very interesting game. Oh, and then one other little detail that I thought was very cool. The dungeon that they skipped me ahead to, like they basically got me all the the items and stuff to unlock it. But once you like turn the gear, it's like on the side of a lake. You turn this gear, and then like this pool just drains out, and then there's staircases go down. The dungeon is under the lake. So
sounds like blueprints.
Yeah, but that's the other thing though. It's like it's a game in like a modern Civil War setting with medieval dungeons. Yeah. Like very distinct dungeons to go through.
Nothing really looks like
puzzles.
It's super cool.
Yeah. So, our friend, not really our friend, but I've never met him. Elias Tofexis.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Adam Jensen is the lead character. Some other really good voice acting from the characters I've talked to so far.
Nice.
Although I will say, I told some other people this after the preview event, like I felt like the farmer was like too well spoken in a way. Like it just felt like this is
out of place.
This is some like really like on stage great fantasy performance or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this is a dude on a farm. He doesn't come across like a dude on a farm too much, but
funny.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, dealing with this sci-fi stuff, looking for your family, exploring the world, whatever direction you want to go.
Definitely checking this game out.
The combat is something I'm, hoping. Well, actually, no. They've specifically said that they're,
Tweaking.
looking at what we've done and looking at tweaking it.
Yeah.
There's another part where I had gotten some items and then I wanted to go back and then I thought I was shut out, but I wasn't. I just didn't see the hallway in the right spot, and so he was said they'll give a note to see if they can make that a little bit more clear so people don't miss it. Because I thought where is it?
Yeah.
And it was there's a shut door, but because he went back, he had me look at the footage to show him where it was at. And it's no, see, there's a hole in the wall right there. You just walk past it. I was like,
damn it. That's funny. Awesome, Lord.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Same.
And it is going to be a good time, I think.
Heck yeah.
Puzzles, exploration,
All of it.
dungeons.
Cool.
Hell is us.
That was us. I'm ready.
I just got off the plane, so I did not write down the fact sheet stuff. So just look in the description for the date and the platforms and all that good stuff for when it comes out. But I think it's later in the summer. I want to say it's later in the summer off the top of my head.
Nice.
Or early fall. But thank you. We're Easy Allies. Thank you for watching this preview. Check out our other previews and impressions and our podcast every week.
Check them out.
Thank you, Hubert, for talking.
Excellent, dude. I'm ready.
Yeah. See you soon.